So a lot of times I like to do sweep for sweep as the warm-up just to see what's on your guys' minds, see what you guys are working. And I feel one area where we're kind of underdeveloped is just simple stuff like close guard position. And this isn't just for our gym. I think a lot of modern gyms, they neglect these basic positions. So we're just going to do some just really good attacks from this position. They're not overly complex, but they're very effective. All right. So we're going to start in the close guard. Now guys, when we're in the close guard, it can be really easy to brain fart. Okay, it's like, well, what do I do from here? Okay, so we have two different avenues for attacking from here. There's more than two, but there's two basic ones we can play with. We have our whole system for getting the overhook, and then we have our whole system for getting the arm drag and attacking from here. So today we're going to talk about attaining the overhook and attacking from the overhook. All right. So from this position, and if you first learn the overhook, a lot of times, especially in a beginner class, they show you the prayer hands where we come inside, we pray, get the hands to the mat, and overhook. And this can work, but you run into a couple dilemmas. One thing is, if my opponent grabs the lapel, this is very difficult. If he grabs the lapel or the belt, I'm not going to be able to deflect his hands. Also, even if I do deflect his hands, a good guy, if his hands hit the mat, he'll just immediately come right back on the mat. He knows to not let his hands go on the mat. So we need more of a proactive way to get to the overhook. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to grab the sleeve. Now from here, I want to bring my hand underneath, but a lot of times he'll block me here. So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise my hips off of the ground, and I'm going to put my forefingers right here. Now I'm going to drop my hips, and the second I drop, I slip my hand inside. From this position, guys, I'm going to extend his hand towards the ceiling, like so. Okay, guys, I want you to focus this transition because this is what really jams people up. I'm going to take this hand that's grabbing my own wrist, I circle it to the inside. All right, I go from here to here. Now from this position, guys, I'm going to do two simultaneous motions. I'm pulling his sleeve forward as I reach my hand up to get to the overhook. Now once I've attained the overhook, I'm going to pass the lapel, so I shake it. And if I have to shake it 1,000 times, I'm going to shake it 1,000 times. But I want there to be enough slack that I can pass it to my overhooking hand. Now from here, guys, we could start attacking, but this isn't very dynamic. I don't have the best angle for attack, so we are going to shrimp to our side from here, okay? From here, if he just barrels into me, I'm kind of stuck here. All right, but if I make a frame along his face, put my foot to the floor, and get off to the side, this is an optimal angle. He can't really drive his weight into me as effectively, and it presents so many attacks for me. Now the first attack we're going to do from here, guys, this is the attack that's going to set up all our other attacks from here. It's just a basic fist choke. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to keep my free hand, I'm going to go 4 fingers in the lapel. Okay? And fist placement is really important. I don't want to be really high on his neck. And I also don't want to be on his windpipe or Adam's apple. Okay? It's going to be right here where the carotid artery is off. Alright? It's going to be a blood choke. It kind of hurts, but it's a blood choke. So from here, I'm going to stiff arm into his neck as I pull the lapel towards me. So it's almost like I'm winding up a bow and arrow. All right. So from here, I get my grips, I just extend and finish right here. And this is one of those chokes that people don't take seriously until they're about to tap. It's like, oh, I'm fine in this position. But it's really effective. And what's also nice is it's very low risk. Remember, guys, anytime I go for like a triangle, an omoplata, something like that, they're great attacks, but I am opening my legs, which opens up the position where he could potentially escape. This is really good because the only time we open our legs really is just to adjust to the side. Right? So once again, from the beginning, we're here, he's controlling, and whether he controls the lapel or the belt, same applies. So if he grabs the belt, we can do the same thing. I grab sleeve control, I take my 4 fingers, I lift up, I drop, right to position. I punch the hand up. And guys, sometimes I reach my hand through like this, sometimes I do this too, sometimes I just bring my elbow through and then go. Okay, I honestly don't know what's better, I do both. Find what's comfortable for you. They're very close to one another. It's just a slight variation. Once I get the overhook, I loosen the lapel, make my frame, foot to the floor, shrimp out to the side. Okay, I get my 4 fingers in the lapel and extend for the choke. Any questions, guys? Yes.
It looked, just tell me if I'm completely off, but it looked like the key element to getting that choking mechanism is getting that high tension and then rolling in with the numbers. Not so much a push.
I'd say
like a motorcycle.
I want to think. Don't think about it as much as a turn. Okay. I don't think it, like maybe you'll slightly turn to adjust, but think of it as you're just punching through him. Like we're not punching like for impact, but we're stiff arming away. And as we stiff arm away, we're pulling him towards us. It's these two simultaneous forces. That's what's going to create the choke. So I'm pulling him towards this fist. So I'm basically just pulling him into this choke. Does that make sense? Anything else? All right, guys, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
We have nothing but happy days here at Legion.
Go to this choking hand. Let's lower it a tiny bit right there. That's where we're gonna go. Now from here, extend this away as you pull on this. Oh, there. That's good. That's good. That's better.
That one just fucking hurt.
No tap from that too, but it just it breeds resentment. So. It's time! Let's bring it in! Okay guys, so now let's take that fist choke and let's mix it with other attacks. Okay, so same setup is going to apply. So we're here, I get underneath, I break the grip, I get my overhook. Okay, now guys, it's important, look, when I'm passing the grip, really with this grip, I just want it tight enough that it's restricting the carotid arteries on this side. It doesn't have to be insanely tight, but there has to be some tension against his neck here, okay? So that's our goal, just shaking, 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 getting it tight across, okay? Now when I get to the other side, guys, look, if you can't fit your fingers in, you could just make a fist here. It does work. It is preferable if you get your forefingers inside though. So if you feel you can't fit it inside because it's too tight, you can always start from the top and work your way down, or sometimes there's space to start down and work your way up. So it's all about finding a good entry point. Sometimes it fits perfectly here. If not, I'd say a good option is to start high and work your way down into the position. Okay. Now, as I said before, this is kind of the attack that's going to set up all your other attacks. So I can go for this fist choke, and one really common reaction is he's going to start to grab my wrist. Okay. Now, as he grabs my wrist, I'm just going to push him up a little bit like so. Now from here, this gives me easy access to take my bottom leg and shoot right for the triangle. So it's important, guys. We go for the fist choke in earnest. We want to finish it, so it's a credible attack. And when it's a credible attack, he has to defend. All right. So I go for a truly credible attack. He grabs the wrist, right to the triangle. Now from here, guys, we can still finish the fist choke. A lot of times, my leg over his hand is enough to negate his defense. I could just finish the choke here. As an alternative, guys, I can also release my lapel grip and I can go into a straight arm lock right here. So I'm right here and I can just use this overhook. So the goal for this one, guys, is I want to keep the fist in the neck. When I keep the fist in the neck, I keep him this respectable distance that his arm is straight. If I try to go for this overhook arm lock and I don't have this here, he'll pressure into me and I lose it. Okay, so I keep him extended away, and I just bring the crook of my elbow on his elbow, and I just anchor into the submission. Okay, and remember, we don't need to hold the lapel for this one. I can just rest my hand here and just finish just like so. All right. Also, if none of that works, we can always raise the hips, hold the arm across, and just finish a super basic triangle. Okay. So I want you guys to get to the position and just play with all these different attacks from here. I don't want you to think about the triangle in such a linear way in which you have to go for the triangle choke. There's a ton of submissions from there, guys. So again, we're here, I lift, I drop, I get the position. I'm going to shake the lapel out. And guys, even if I don't plan on going for the fist choke, I'll always get this grip. It's an insurance policy. If other stuff doesn't work, we can always circle back to the fist choke. So you should always grab this. Again, I get to the side. Okay, and he starts to grab it to defend. That's fine. And guys, if he grabs and his elbow is tight to the mat, it's going to be hard for me to get my leg out. So I stiff arm him away from me like so. From here, I secure my triangle. I can fist choke. I can go for the overlock submission. Or I can bring the arm across and just go for the basic triangle. And don't neglect wrist locks, elbow locks, and arm locks from this position as well, guys. We have a ton we can do from here. Any questions? Anybody need to see this again?
Put me flat on my back. This is the very first thing you have to know about after. There's two different halves. This right here is a vanilla. Yeah, so this right here, this is terrible. This is a half mom for him. This is a half back. I'm flat on my back. I'm pinned. I do have this leg, but I have a long way.
All right, guys. On three. 1, 2, 3.